And right there, my brain was just like, why does it matter what the cover is? Why don't you want to read the story? God damn it.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
We are so dedicated to this podcast that this is the second time we're starting this episode.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I accidentally knocked into my tea as I was pressing record, and the entirety of what would have been that episode was son of a... And then I stopped it.
And that's it.
Yep.
Lost episode.
I was about to say how dedicated it looked like you were researching topics for this week's episode.
No.
And regardless of what you had, which I see now is nothing.
Nothing.
I thought we would start this episode with a bad idea. Do you get it?
I do get it. There's a new comic company that's coming out.
They're called Bad Idea.
They are called Bad Idea.
It is basically New Valiant.
Kind of.
It's run by Dinesh Shamdasani, who was pretty high up in Valiant, and
he was the guy who brought Valiant back, basically. He was the guy who had nostalgia for 80s and 90s, I guess 90s, not 80s, 90s and 2000s Valiant, and had got together with money people and relaunched Valiant, got it to the point where it could be partially acquired, and then I believe totally acquired by a Chinese company.
Yep.
And then cashed out. I think a year or so ago.
Went to Hollywood.
And now is launching a comic company, which is, I think, kind of amazing. It's a thing that I always am interested in the idea of the people who, in comics, who hit it big on something, kind of, they never really disappear. They're always like, well, now that I've got money, let me do this insane thing in comics. Like, Kirkman took all of his Walking Dead money and was like, cool, what if I just paid artists to do books in secret for a year so that I could launch it out of nowhere?
Yeah.
By just having it show up in people's diamond boxes. Can't do that unless you've got a bunch of crazy Walking Dead money to fund that. Like, no publisher's going to do that. No publisher's going to risk not having buzz for months at a time, or just giving copies to stores so that it can be a surprise. So it's cool that Dinesh is a guy that said, I've got all this money. What's a different way of doing comics? And he reached out to what sounds like a lot of people who were kind of the core Valiant marketing and editorial group.
But don't forget, this is after he produced the Witcher series.
Did he really produce the Witcher series? Weird.
And something else, another TV series.
It's a weird thing to do.
As well as getting that Bloodshot movie off the ground.
I guess, yeah. But, I mean, he's not involved with the publishing, I think, of Valiant anymore.
No.
So
but, he definitely...
This is his comics gig.
Like, he definitely went to Hollywood and did a bunch of really well-received, nerdy properties. Mm-hmm. And now he's, as you said, putting his money where his funnies used to be. You like that? I just thought of that. I was going to say funny books, but I changed it. And he has a new comic company called Bad Idea. Yeah,
him and Warren Simons?
Yep.
Simmons are the co-CEOs and co-chief creative officers of the company. And guys like Adam Freeman and someone else are part of their marketing team.
Everybody who is part of Bad Idea worked in some capacity at Valiant when Dinesh was there.
Yes. Yeah, but they've got a slightly different approach to being a comic company, which I guess is where a lot of the interest is coming from. Is that they're not just, for lack of a better comparison, AWA.
Sure.
Where it's like, hey, we're guys that used to work in another company. We don't anymore. We went through a Rolodex, hired the people that we know, hired the creators that we worked with and liked, and now we're putting our books out through Diamond. Here's, 12 books in the first 3 months. Some of them are superhero books. Some of them tie in together, blah, blah, blah. Now, there are elements of that to Bad Idea.
Let me jump in and go off on an AWA tangent for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
You're familiar with their retail council?
I am. I think you're on it, right?
I thought I was on it too, but I got a call today from AWA
However,
pitching me on the retail council.
oh, well, maybe because you are on it, but you don't take part in it.
Yeah, that's true. I really don't do anything for it. But I mean, we got all those extra books. I thought that was a retail council thing.
I guess not.
And when I said, when the woman gave the pitch and said, "Is that something you'd be interested in?" And I said, "Yeah, so much so that we're already on it." She said, "Are you?" And I said, "Look, I thought we are, but clearly the whole point of this phone call is because somewhere we're not."
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "Well, you filled out the form?" And I said, "Honestly, I have no recollection of how I did it.
Lady, I fill out a lot of
I
forms.
filled something out. I can't remember. Like, I didn't hand it to someone. It was definitely online. I'm not willing to go look it up and see when and where or what confirmation I got or whatever. But it wasn't the same person from AWA who called a few weeks ago to talk about stuff, and I had to put her on hold because Elsa Chartier had called,
Oh.
and I
Would much rather
definitely
talk to her.
Yeah,
yes.
Once she said who she was, in her accent, I said, "Hold, please," and jumped over and said, "Hey, I really need to take this call." And the AWA woman had said, "Oh, I'll call back," but it was a different person.
Sure.
And then I talked to Elsa Chartier, and it turns out she was not offering to do a signing
No.
at Challengers.
No. Just had a book coming out.
Yep, a second book. So she's like, "All right, well, I mean, I guess I'll look it up. Sorry for the phone call." I'm like, "No, it's fine. I mean, clearly something like if we're not on it, sure, we'll be part of it."
Said with that much enthusiasm? Sure, okay.
No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it.
All right.
I think I said, yeah. You know what? Sure. If it helps you out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess being part of the advisory council could be of benefit to us because we could get the answer to the question I've been asking about AWA since they started, which is, why are you doing this? Why this? Like, what in the market makes you think this is an idea that's worth pursuing? Like, I get that the market, us included, is full of people who, like, don't necessarily, like, they want to be a part of the market. You know what I mean? They want to be a part of comics. And they don't know how to not be a part of comics, even if, from the outside, it's like, hey, don't be a part of comics. So...
Even from the inside.
So, yeah, I don't know if, like... AWA could just easily turn that question around on me and go, like, why are you doing this? It's like, I don't know any better. And I guess maybe that's AWA's answer. Axel Alonso and Bill Jemis, they don't know any better. This is all they understand even vaguely how to do. And even if I would argue it's not worth doing, isn't that art? I don't know. Is art ever worth doing?
Sure. I think our answer is we don't have anything else.
I guess.
But they should have had other things.
I don't know. I mean, what...
Dinesh certainly has other things.
Yeah, and that's why it's sort of interesting to see him pursue it, because, you know, it's the money thing again of, like, I get why Axel Alonso would want to do this. This is an aspect of the job he's been doing for decades. Like, without, you know...
It has proven at times he can be good at it.
Yeah, in certain circumstances, absolutely. So the idea of him kind of doing that at a different company, it's like all the marketing people that move around between, like, you know, Aftershock and A Wave Blue World and Vault and Oni and, like, that sort of second and third tier marketing crew that's just constantly moving from office to office like they're in the same office park. Like,
yeah.
They just pick up their box and go to the next office to the left. And it's like, congratulations. You're the retailer rep now for Antarctic. There you go.
Yeah.
There you are.
That's
Enjoy.
how the warehouse jobs were described to us at Diamond.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they just move from warehouse to warehouse to warehouse.
Because there's just these warehouses, and once you know how to pack a box one place, you can pack a box any place.
And you know how to get to this office park?
Yeah. So you can still live where you live and just work for one of 15 different companies that are operating within the same industrial park. And I feel like that's all those companies on the West Coast, maybe, that are just like, it's just super easy to work from one to the other. And a lot of them you can telecommute into, so you don't have to go and work at, you know, one of those offices. You can just be anywhere in the country and, you know, email retailers and fly to shows and whatever else. Anyway, bad idea. Can you explain the bad idea business model to me?
I can.
Okay.
I mean, I guess
Like, what's...
No, I guess I can't explain it.
Because I read about their
tell
approach.
you what they're doing.
Okay, do that.
But I can't explain it.
I think I can explain it if you can...
Okay, so Bad Idea is going to be making comics. Their first comic is written by Matt Kindt and drawn by Dougie Braithwaite.
Yeah, and that's, real quick aside, that's... I said before, like, they're not doing things like AWA, but that's one thing they're absolutely doing like AWA. Like, who's doing work for them? The guys that they liked at Valiant.
Yeah.
Like, immediately it's like Matt Kindt and Doug Braithwaite. Like, oh, cool. Divinity? Was that their book?
Sure.
Eternity? One of the two of them?
Yeah. One of the two of them did,
Exo?
I guess, every book.
They both did Exo?
Exo, yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
at least to start with.
Just not at the same time, did it? Did they?
I think they both did it at the same
Okay.
time. I think they were an Exo team to start with.
Well, we had Matt Kindt out for Free Comic Book Day for, I thought, the second launch of Exo. Mm-hmm. And we're about to hit the third.
I mean, they had other people, like Tomas Giorello, I think, maybe did the one that the Free Comic Day one.
Okay.
But
I mean, as far as, like, ongoing... Okay, either way.
Sure. They're guys who have worked together at Valiant
Under these people.
So definitely, it's the same as the J.M. Straczynski, Mike Deodato Jr. thing for AWA. It's like, these are guys that we like, these are guys that we've worked with, these are guys that we've, brought over to the company that we were at before, and now we've got money and we want to bring them over again because we trust what they can do. Like, I get that. It just feels... AWA is the same thing where it's like, why this again?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing in Bad Idea where I'm like, I don't know if... Like, I like these creators, but it's... I don't know. It's like launching with a Garth Ennis war book. Like, all right, that's safe, but it's like... It's safe.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm writing down things to talk about in a few minutes that I've just thought about.
Okie doke.
So, rather than solicit their books through Diamond, and we're going to get some TKO references in here as well.
Yep.
Bad Idea is selling direct to retailers. The difference is TKO would sell... Well, I mean, TKO would sell to...
Anybody.
Publishers. I mean, to readers.
Yeah, direct to consumer.
Retailers. Consumers is what I should have said. And to anyone who wants it.
Yeah, you just contact TKO and say, I want to start an account, and then you can order books. That's what we did.
So Bad Idea is only selling to retailers, but only 20.
To start.
Only 20 retailers.
Mm-hmm.
How many retailers are there in the world?
In the world?
Sure.
I mean, Diamond's got thousands of accounts.
Yeah, let's just say 3,000.
Sure.
20.
20?
Just 20.
They're all in Los Angeles.
They don't know...
I'm kidding. I don't know where they are.
Well, yeah, they don't know who they are yet.
Oh, God, maybe we're going to be one of them. Probably not after this podcast.
I mean...
I mean, look, let me say this. I got weird things that I've just said about Bad Idea, but I would not disqualify us from carrying Bad Idea. If they approach us and were like, hey, we want you to be one of the 20 stores, I'd be like, let's talk.
Oh, Dal, that's not how it works.
No?
No. You approach them.
I do?
Well, I mean, the retailers do. Like, they're not going to ask retailers. Retailers have to ask them.
Oh.
And then there's... I don't know exactly how they determine. And you'd mentioned that it's to start...
Wait. So you got to pitch your store to Bad Idea?
Pitch? No. So they're going to start with 20.
Uh-huh.
By the end of 2020, they hope to have up to...
50?
50.
50.
Yes, so they start with 20. The 20 retailers that they'll select are willing to do more than normal promotion.
Okay.
They have to regularly do social media.
Uh-huh.
They have to be willing to promote Bad Idea.
Okay.
And do in-store displays.
Okay.
Like, end caps or whatever.
And they said they're only going to do like a book or two a month. So it's pretty easy to do a display for one or two books. I'll do a display for one or two books.
What the retailers will do will contact them and say, hey, we're interested. Mm-hmm. And then they'll figure it out.
Are you going to contact them?
I already did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you tell them I was going to say unkind things about them?
I did not. I absolutely did not.
I don't know that I said that much unkind things.
Didn't.
But anyway, go on. I was just honest about my speculation.
But once they dislike... Oh, here's another rule. The retailers have to adhere to a strict seller's contract with them.
Because of how they're creating their products.
And as you said, there's only 1 or 2 titles a month.
Yes.
Their titles will be prestige format, $3.99 comic books.
Right.
I don't think they're oversized. I think they're regular format, the regular size.
I think they're oversized in the sense that they might be more pages. I
Yes,
don't know that they're
yes.
necessarily larger formats.
Yeah. I believe they're more than your standard 20-page Marvel comic for $3.99. They say they're going to keep them at $3.99. They are not going to offer them digitally.
Right.
They are not going to offer them in trade paperbacks.
Right.
They are not going to do variant covers.
Yes.
Every issue will have one cover.
Yeah, let me tell you, as a quick aside, I love that because we had some folks in at River North tonight, and it was just making my blood boil because it's like I could hear them talking, and one of them was saying to the other that they were looking for the new Avengers Defenders Tarot series, so they start looking at the shelf under T, and I go, oh, it's actually under A for Avengers Defenders Tarot, and they go with that end, and I can hear them talking, and it's like, oh, look, they've got 1 and 2. Oh, they don't have the Alan Davis covers. And so that was it. They didn't buy them. And it's like, we have a stack of each, but it's like, it's the wrong cover. And right
that
there,
greatly affects the inside of the book.
and right there, my brain was just like, why does it matter what the cover is? Why don't you want to read the story? God damn it. And it's the stocking thing of like, so if I order 50 copies of cover A and 50 copies of cover B, but cover B is the only one people want, now I got 50 copies of cover A that I might as well throw in the garbage. Like, who can predict that? How? And,
you can't.
And the more covers there are, the more chance that you've picked the wrong one.
Yep.
And it's like that. It used to be just like, order enough copies of the comics, and it's like, great. No, order enough copies of every single version of the comics. And I just, oh my God, I hate it so much. It is impossible to sell comics to people anymore. So any publisher that's like, you know what, one cover, great. Holy shit. You got my vote right there. Like, you had my attention, now you have my interest.
I see.
Yeah, so I'm super on board with the idea of, like, we're just doing one cover. God bless you. The amount of variant covers has so warped customer behavior that it's just... It takes a market with razor-thin margins and makes it even more unprofitable. As you're just like, oh, I got the cover A's that no one wants because there's a cover B that's more desirable. The no digital thing, I honestly don't care about. I understand why they're doing it. Everything about this seems like it's to reorient customers towards the single issue comic book, to give that a sense of prestige. Instead of the TKO thing, which is like, we will meet our reader wherever they are. They want a single comic, great. They want a box set of single comics, great. They want a trade paperback, great. They want digital, great. Like, wherever they are, we want to be there for them. This is a company saying, the more you do that, the more unspecial the idea of a single comic is. The more the kind of core element of comics for a lot of people who are in the industry, like that single issue comic has merit beyond just like a nostalgic trinket. You know, it's how you pay the bills, and it's how the market has existed for decades, and nothing else that's available, graphic novels, digital, is able to take the place of that, in the sense of the immediacy of getting your book to market, of engaging with fans, of creating buzz, of making money. So maybe doing something, at least to start with, that's just single comics, a single comic book. You pick it up, you read it, there's another one that's out next month. That's the model, that's it. Is, I think, really interesting. I understand kind of, I think, where they're coming from with it. I don't know if it's the answer to the problem that the industry is facing as far as how to engage people and how to get them excited about coming into comic shops. But I don't think it's any surprise that it's kind of on the heels of Boom doing a little bit more to say, let's just concentrate on making a good comic book and not worry about all the other parts of it. You know, like stuff like Once and Future having one cover was a kind of statement of, we don't need to do 5 or 6 covers per issue. Of course, as it would turn out, they would have to go back to press 5 or 6 times per issue, which means that there are 5 or 6 covers per issue. And we definitely had our experiences of people coming and saying, oh, you don't have Once and Future number 1 second print? We have 30 copies of the first print. Oh, but you don't have the second print?
Yep.
which is the same thing that we deal with variant covers. So it was like, you changed the verbiage, that was about it. But this is, I think, a cool concept in that I'm curious to see if it's going to work. I'm curious if, beyond the speculatorness of it, and I think that's another part of its DNA, is the only certain stores will have this, so you've got to get to that store on that day to get the 1 or 2 copies that you're allowed to buy, because there's going to be someone else in the country that doesn't have that shop near them, and they will pay you triple cover to get that Matt Kindt comic because they're a Matt Kindt fan.
Okay, I'm sorry. You just misspoke.
I did?
Yes. You said the 1 or 2 covers you're allowed to buy. 1 or 2 copies you're allowed to buy.
Uh-huh.
You are only allowed, if you're the retailer,
Right.
Each person can only buy 1 copy.
Per what?
Per issue.
Per what span of time? Forever?
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to police forever?
I mean, that's a conversation we'll have to have if it's us.
Because that's
but
the thing.
that is their
it
rule.
Sounds like, which is a great rule. Our rule is 2 copies per person per day for anything marked new this week.
Right.
We can police that because I can remember who came in today.
Right.
Any store that has multiple staff, there's literally nothing to stop a person coming in every single day of the week and buying 1 copy.
I mean, I think it would
And then
have
at the
to
end
be
of the week,
a
they bought
system
7
where
copies.
they have to show a driver's license and we have them in our
There's
system.
no way to do that. There is no policy under which any store is going to be able to completely police 1 copy per person in perpetuity. Like, it's not. We would have to be selling those books for $10 a copy for it to be worth our time to check IDs for everyone who's buying Bad Idea comic books and keep them in our system.
I'm sorry, it's $2.99. You knew that part.
Right there, I don't want to do it because that's a ton of extra work for one company.
The ID thing I just said.
Right, but
I don't.
I'm just
maybe
saying.
they have a plan.
I don't think they do. I think they have an idea, which is a limit of 1 per person, but I think they realize that this is the real world and there's no way to police that. Especially because as soon as you make a limit, there's going to be people that are going to get around it. There are things that we were limiting people 1 per person that we stopped selling because it's just, as soon as you say 1 per person, oh, but my kid really wants one too, or you bring in 4 kids and it's like
Right.
they each want to get one. Like, what's to stop that? You know,
Right.
there's so
I
many
know.
there's so many loopholes.
I know.
So there will be speculating on this. There almost entirely because you've made it limited. That is like catnip to these key collector app jerks. I was going to use a much worse word, but I'll limit it to jerks.
Sure.
Who will just, as soon as someone says this is scarce, they want it because they know they can sell it online because you just said scarce. They can put that in the eBay listing. Scarce.
Everything is scarce. Everything is limited.
So yeah, I can guarantee you there's going to be stores that will want to participate in this, not because they necessarily believe in Bad Ideas philosophy or plan for the industry or really want to recenter things on creating readers and fans, so much as that they know that they can sell a copy a day to people, that they will literally come in every day to buy another copy because they can take that $4 comic and flip it for $20. So it's worth their time to every day come into the store to make $15 or $16. Like, that's fine.
But aside from the difficulty in policing it,
Right.
what do you think of the idea of it?
Oh, I mean, the policing of it, I don't even care about. Like, if they want to make a limit of 1 per day, fine, sure. I think the limit can be whatever they want. If they want to make that part of the model, sure. The rest of it, yeah, I mean, there's an element of potentially, like, kind of hype and scarcity to it that could help them as far as getting the word out about their comics. And there's people who will pick them up because they know they can't get them anywhere else. And maybe you'll get some people locally to these stores that shop at other stores, but they know that other store in the city is the only one that gets Bad Idea comics, so they'll stop there to get those. The books will live and die on their merits, though.
Right.
And I haven't seen anything from those books yet. I like the creators involved. I thought Valiant always did a good job of reaching out to interesting talent and giving them space to tell stories. I got to tell you, though, I mean, when I was reading Valiant stuff, I kind of got bored with it real fast. Like, they always had great creators, but then the books would just feel really bland. I mean, did you not find that? Did you ever open a Valiant comic ever?
Yes.
In this past decade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
even ones that I thought were really clicking with me, like the Matt Kin XO stuff. I mean, I don't think I made it like 13 or 14 issues, maybe. Probably less. And that was the one that I really stuck with compared to the rest of them.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, is it going to work? Sure, maybe. Are the books going to be good? I don't know. That helps. It always helps. It's not the answer, but it helps. Yourself, Patrick, how do you feel about Bad Idea?
I think two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, if we're one of the 20 retailers, I love it.
Sure. Again, I will gladly be a guinea pig for this. It sounds like it's a fun idea. I'm real interested to see what it'll do, and I'd be happy to work with any company that's trying something to, if not revitalize the industry, then sort of see what other avenues are out there to draw in fans.
I wonder if chains count as one or, whatever number of stores they have.
Oh, if a chain is an account or if a chain is a collection of accounts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. It's depending on kind of what their criteria is. I would assume that with the 20 stores, they'd want to hit as much of the geographic area of the country as possible.
But I also wonder if they would just like one New York store, one LA store, one Texas store, one Chicago store.
I think they'd probably do, a few, 2 or 3 maybe LA stores, 2 or 3 New York stores. But then other parts of the country, like for Florida, you might have like a Tampa store and a Miami store, and that's kind of it. You might not have a single store in like the more central part of the country. Maybe like a Missouri store, but probably nothing in like, Utah or Oklahoma or anything. I'm just guessing. I mean, maybe they're looking for like, I don't know how many stores are going to want to participate in this. I don't know exactly what their criteria are.
I think a lot of stores will want to because of the scarcity part of it.
Maybe.
But okay, hypothetically, it's us.
Okay.
And I can make great cases if it needs to be as to why it should be us.
Okay.
But hypothetically, it's us. We're the only store in Chicago that has it.
Uh-huh.
What do you order?
Well, I guess I'd be really interested to see what they're doing for stores as far as, kind of the not the marketing, but the kind of sales arrangement. There's a word for it, and my mind is not thinking of it.
Okay.
Like, what are they doing for getting copies into stores? Like, is it just like, all right, we've chosen you. You're allowed to buy from us. Like, okay, but what are we paying? Is there a discount for certain levels?
Let's in this hypothetical. It's the standard. Let's say,
like, is there returnability? Are there overships? Are there
tiered
no overships?
Let's say no.
Okay, because that would be the part that'd be frustrating to me, because it would feel less like we are participating with a partner in finding new markets and new excitement for comics, and more like we are being asked to take all the financial burden on this. You know what I mean? That would feel less good to me and less like something I'd want to participate in. I would want there to be some risk sharing. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is a brand new project. I would expect any publisher in previews that's launching a new company to be like, here's how we're going to help you figure out your levels for this.
Well, maybe since there's no diamond cut, they'll be able to work out some sort of
because
incentive.
If you were to name any number between 1 and 200, I'd be like, okay, shrug. Sure. Who knows? I mean, especially because in this purely hypothetical situation, are we allowed to do reservations? And if so, what's our club numbers look like?
Yeah.
Do we have people coming in from outside our subscription service saying, put me down for all the Bad Idea comics? Like, that's going to change my answer a whole lot. But yeah, I would hope at the very, very least there would be either returnability or overships for the first issues of these books. Because otherwise I have no idea. The answer is going to be low, because every publisher that's not going to offer me those, that's a brand new publisher, is going to be low. I don't think it's in their best interest to be that lopsided on the risk of launching a company.
What do you think they're looking for in the retailers they choose? purely the biggest stores that could move the most product?
I don't think so.
Integrity? Like somebody that falls in line with their...
If you're looking for integrity, you're looking in the wrong market. I mean, Jesus Christ. You might as well be looking for actual leprechauns. Sure. I think it's a mix of... I would assume they'd want to reach out to the larger accounts. Because if you want sales, you're going to have to go through them. It wouldn't make sense, to skip over a chain like Midtown in favor of a single New York store. You know what I mean? Midtown's going to order thousands of copies between their accounts. Yeah. Especially if they're allowed to do mail order. Even if it's just in store, they have huge foot traffic. They're in Times Square.
I wonder, they probably have to address mail order because suddenly, if DCBS is one of the stores, then the whole world has access to it. But are the stores that get it now allowed to sell it online? I'm sure there's
these are all good questions.
I'm sure there's things like you can't mark it up.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, these are all really good questions, and a lot of the answers to that, I think, will give us an idea of what sort of stores they're looking for. My guess would be a mix of big accounts and progressive retailers. Yeah. I think, in certain cities, I think they'll be looking for, okay, everybody goes to this store, so we want our books to be there so they find them. But also, we want, this store that does a lot of online promotion, that does a lot of fun activities, that gets a lot of buzz, to maybe be also a part of this, to feel like, it's not just, we only care about, the top 10 accounts, or the top 20 accounts. I would hope there would be a sense of serving different kinds of markets. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But again, that's just, I don't know what they're looking for. I think once we see what the first 20 stores are and what the books look like.
The other 19 stores are.
And, thank you. And what the other 18 stores?
I counted us as one. Okay. Or two as one.
And what the terms they're offering these accounts are, I think it'll give us a much better picture of exactly what...
What if it's the opposite? What if it's, you can sell this in River North, not Bucktown.
I'm fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, assuming the terms are good.
I honestly prefer that.
Assuming the terms are good, not just in the sense of, what's the discount, because we're getting this directly from the publisher rather than going through a distributor. I would hope the discount would be at least comparable with what we would get at Diamond, if not a much better discount, because there's no middleman between the store and the publisher to take a cut.
What if they offer options hey, you could have 70% off cover, no returnability, 40% off cover, 70% returnability?
I think that's a really good idea, actually. I mean, I think in general, I think that's an interesting model, because we've been offered that when we were opening River North. Diamond had publishers that were offering different, store expansion terms to stock up on graphic novels and stuff. And a few of them offered terms basically like that. You can either get your standard discount and it's returnable, or you can get a much deeper discount. It's not returnable. Or not returnable. It was like a consignment, a deferred billing thing. And so for some of those publishers, we took the deferred billing because we're like, okay, well, we'd rather pay what we would normally pay, but over a much longer span of time than pay everything up front, but pay less. So doing that for something like Bad Idea would be really interesting because, I mean, depending on how confident you are in the books and how, how good you are with your capital, maybe you just want to say, I'll take 200 copies at 70% off, as opposed to another store that might say, I'll take, 200 copies at 40% off, but I know I'm not going to get stuck with them. Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting.
Well, I'm willing to vie for it and jump through hoops to see what it takes, and I think that...
Tell them that if it's part of the deal, I can be fired.
I mean, you can always be fired.
Sure. But I mean, this time it would be for a good cause.
But they would be firing you, or I would be firing you?
If they requested it. If it was a condition of challengers getting Bad Idea books... Sure. I'll be fired.
But what if they go the opposit way? What if we can only sell their books so long as we never fire Kent?
Okay.
Is that
Sure, you can always be reassigned.
Okay, that's fair.
We just have to not fire him, right?
Nobody said we had to make him happy. Oh, good times. Yeah, that's it's interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have spent more time talking about Bad Idea than we have any number of other companies that have just been like, hey, we're launching in previews. Here's a catalog of our books.
I wonder how much our opinion will change if we're not one of the 20 stores.
Oh, I don't...
If it's somebody who's really close to us geographically.
I don't assume we would be. I mean, I don't... It's easy to not get a swelled head for me in this industry because I don't think very much of what I do.
Uh-huh.
So if I get passed over, it's like, okay, I can see that.
I wonder how angry every other store in a city will be when their competitor gets it and they don't.
Apoplectic? I'll just go with that word. It's a good word and I like it. They will be They will be incensed, Patrick, to find out that someone else was chosen over them. Because that's how this industry works.
Not wrong about that. Moving on. Hey, Dow, we're in the very beginning. We're 1/7 of the way through the I Love You But I've Chosen Comics 20% off store-wide sale.
Oh, shit. Was that today?
I bet you listeners of this podcast, this comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network in Chicago, are sick of us talking about it, and they're tired of hearing of it.
It's only once a year, though. We got to talk about it now.
However, the number of people that were in the stores today who did not know there was a sale rivaled that of the number of people who were in for the sale.
Wow,
that's one of my least favorite things when I'll be like, oh, this is great. This is 25% off today because of our big sale. Oh, you have a sale? The number of people that just didn't know, regulars, people that had to walk in the front door that has a sale flyer head level, that have to...
Three different banners in the window that are 3 feet high by 5 feet wide.
Also...
so 3 feet high by
4 feet high.
15 feet wide.
Oh, no, the banners are 4 feet high, sorry. 3 feet high by 5 feet wide.
Yep.
Times 3.
So 15 linear feet of banners in the window saying that there's a sale and when it is, and they've been up for a month.
Plenty of people came in January 7th to 5th to 14th to get to 13th to 12th to 11th to get sale discounts in the wrong month because they saw that part of the sign. But it's so disheartening when it's club members who respond to weekly emails.
Where it's been in every email for the last month.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice a week.
I know that marketing means repetition. But when I'm scrambling to get the newsletter done because I fell behind or there's new things to add, and you think, no one reads this far.
No one cares.
I don't have to put these events in.
No one will ever see
this. It doesn't matter.
This.
I'll spell things wrong on purpose sometimes. See what happens.
Yeah, I've said before that when we would send out the monthly catalog email, and there's a section beneath it where it lists every book that people are down for, that there's always a few people every time I send that email out that say, yeah, can you add me for these books? And it's like, if you scrolled down 3 inches, you would see that book listed, but you didn't even scroll that far.
Or the people that...
You just responded. You just went, oh, this is a book I want. Like
3 days later, we'll email and say, can you send me my list? I just did.
Yeah. Anyway.
I just did.
But yeah, the sale started.
Yeah, I mean, the moral of this is just how whatever we think we're doing to get the word out is nowhere near enough.
Oh, no, always. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what... Like, our sale has been kind of less and less each year as far as the dollar amount it brings in.
Sure.
And I don't know what we...
It's the only sale of the year, the only store-wide sale we do.
Yeah.
Only one.
I don't know what to expect this year with...
not a lot.
Right, but... Well, my point is, the 2 stores together today total didn't touch the first day of the sale last year, which was a Thursday.
Which was a Thursday, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no one cares anymore about anything.
I mean, certain people still do.
They do.
And we love them for it.
A few people did. And I saw some folks in today at River North, and they were very kind. The only people who really took advantage of the sale today in River North were all people that formerly shopped in Bucktown.
Yeah.
There were no people that were like brand new or new subscribers who were taking part in it. A few people who I would tell them, like, as I walk around the store, like, oh, we've got our store-wide sale, and it runs through You know, it runs through next Thursday, and it's 25% off everything in the store as long as it's not in the new this week section over here. Oh, great. And then they would buy nothing. And it's like, literally everything in the store except for a 12-foot section is on sale, and it's just like, nope, not interested at all.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
consignment items or markdown
back
items
issues
or
anything like that.
yeah,
No,
none of
this kind of
those
stuff.
in
Nope.
River North.
Nope. So, yeah, literally the entire store, not interested. One guy who had come in before and bought some Star Wars graphic novels, looked in the Star Wars section. I said, oh, there's a sale, and I explained it to him. Okay, great. Yeah, he'll be in at the end of the month with his wife when she gets her haircut. It's like, the sale's right now. Didn't care. Okay. Like, you're here. The sale's here. The books are here. What does it take?
This isn't a sales story, but it was a thing that worked out in our favor, where there was a guy who was in on Thursday, and he brought 2 books up to the counter. And I'm like, oh, you find everything's okay? He's like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, did you know that we have all the new releases for the week on the other side? I did not. And he went over and looked and came back with 4 more books.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of like, hey, you know, just
Sure.
you can tell when someone doesn't go to both sides.
Yeah.
You just got to be like, hey, just so you know.
Everybody in the store who came into River North today, I told them about the sale, and easily half dozen people, 0 interest. Didn't matter that there was a sale. And then there was like a few people who got the sale discount, and it was like, they didn't care about the sale. They were buying like 2 single comics, a couple sets of dice or something. The sale was irrelevant to them.
It's just modern day retail. Rather than dwell on that, Dal, you said the phrase 0 interest.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the choice of topic.
Ooh.
It's dealer's choice. Well, no, I'm the dealer. It is dealee's choice, but you don't know.
Player's choice. I'll take player's choice.
Okay, it's player's choice, but you have to say Marvel or DC.
Marvel.
Keep in mind.
I'll talk about Juggernaut.
Oh, it 100% is.
Fabian DC's is doing a Juggernaut comic book, Patrick.
With Ron Garney.
With Ron Garney and Jeff Shaw's doing the cover. 5-issue series. It's an interesting idea, I think. Like, because he's a mutant character,
but he's not a mutant.
He's not a mutant. He is a magically powered human being, which means he can't go to Krakoa. So, like, what's his story now?
Right.
That's pretty cool.
One of the things that annoyed me was the write-up said he's got new armor, and the cover is just his helmet bursting through a wall.
Sure.
Like, no offense, Jeff Shaw.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah.
Not going to sell books.
I don't think it's going to sell great. I think, like, that's the sort of book where, you know, something like... So, the Dawn of X books, the more they introduce, the more we're kind of, like... I don't think people are as excited to add them in advance. There's definitely a core group that's adding them. Like, the ads that we have for stuff like X Factor and Children of the Atom are certainly higher than they would have been a year ago, for sure. Those books would have been DOA. We probably would not have even carried them for the shelf. So these, like... I think we'll probably do... I would probably order 50, probably for issue 1s for Children of the Atom and X Factor.
Oh, God, I think my Juggernaut. I'm like, what? Okay.
So, but Juggernaut, I mean, depending on polls, I can't see us going over 20.
Here's the mitigating factor.
Just don't see it.
And the reason that
like,
I think it's
interest.
I think it's less than that.
Oof, really?
Yeah, because of the logo.
Oh, I don't remember the logo.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It is not Dawn of X style
lettering.
It is just a blocky Juggernaut with a Cyttorak gem in the one of the letters and cracks coming out from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's interest. Like, core villains like that, when they get a book, I think there's always a little bit of interest from old school fans. I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a guess right now and say, and trying to remember that I guessed this, because we'll come back to this at the end of March.
Right, and I'll give you my guess as well.
I'm going to say we are going to have 5 subscribers.
Okay.
In Bucktown, River North.
Okay.
0 to 1. I think we're going to have 5 subscribers. I will, just so that we're clear on the methodology, I will be emailing this Juggernaut book out to everybody who gets X-Men.
Wow. Okay.
Because I don't know what else. I mean, I'll just bundle that in with whatever Dawn of X stuff is in that month.
Sure.
In the same way that this month it was Children of the Atom and X Factor in one email.
Yeah. Okay.
So everyone's going to get it. I'm going to say 5 subscribers, 15 copies for the shelf.
Okay. My gut would say 12 copies, but I could bump that to 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that we're at 5 by the end of the 5-issue run.
Whoa. Okay. Like, you think it's going to go up to 5 subscribers?
No, I mean, I think we'll be ordering 5 copies.
5 copies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I would do 15 for the shelf for issue 1, but I think we'll be at 5 copies for the shelf, 5 copies for club by the end of issue 5.
Okay. None of your 5 club members are dropping?
Maybe 3. 3 for the rack, maybe. I think 8.
Okay.
I'll say 8 copies.
So you're 20 to 8, and I'm saying 15 to 5.
Okay.
I mean, we're saying the same thing.
We are.
There's not much of a difference.
But what if there's closer without going over Price is Right style rules?
Huh. All right. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. But no, it's certainly not a project that I looked at and went, this is a winner. I thought, oh, okay, it's a fun concept, and I like that they're going in with, like, it's 5 issues, because pretending that this was going to be an ongoing series is either diluted or an outright lie. What was the DC one? I don't know that I know the DC one.
It's not a similar concept.
Oh, it's not a book? Okay.
No, it's a book, but it's not a new book.
Mm.
It is Batman.
The Batman comic book, yes. I stopped reading it with this issue.
I haven't read this issue yet, but I haven't stopped reading it. But since Tom King left, how many issues has it been?
3?
3 issues.
3 issues, right?
We have lost 16 subscribers.
Okay.
And it's still dropping.
Okay, and we've actually had a few people add it who were not down for it before.
Yeah, so
which is
that's
weird.
Yeah.
So net loss is 16? That doesn't count the people who have added it who weren't down for it before?
No, I mean that's like
so the change is 16. That's not
yes, that's with the ads and the drop. So we've actually
20
lost
people could have dropped it.
Yes.
If 4 people added it. So the net change is 16 copies less for subscribers.
And that's just for this week's issue.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, the number was little like we had more people subscribe.
We'd only lost 14 subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a dramatic.
It's a pretty big drop,
and they're trying to do everything they can with this storyline. With
I wonder
all the villains.
I wonder
all
if
the
that
Deathstroke.
Punchline thing is going to change things. Did you see that email?
Did you see the art germ cover for it?
Yeah, it looked pretty bad.
I mean, I feel like this is a time we know in advance to up orders because everyone will want this first appearance. But all this screams Joker's daughter to me.
Well, and on top of that, but
also
that was hot for a minute.
Right.
Joker's daughter was a hot deal for a minute.
But who is she now?
None of this stuff ever lasts. I mean, that can't be the criteria because that's not the market. The market only cares about hot right now. What if she's in a movie,
on
Patrick?
Tuesday night,
Patrick, what if she's in a movie?
Dow started looking up recent stupid hot speculator books online to see what they're going for. And they're all going for next to nothing.
Yeah, nobody cared about them.
Yeah.
Like stuff that was like $30 and $40 books a few months ago, like now it's like you can find them for like $10 or less. Yeah, I mean, the very fact that the DC email was structured in a way of like, here's her first cameo appearance in this book, here's her first full appearance in this book, here's her first cover appearance as a solo character in this book, where it's like, why send this email to me? Just send it to the Key Collector app. Just send it to them. That's your audience, not me.
Yeah, but I feel like if we take advantage of that and order for it, we're going to get burned.
Oh, yeah. So, one, it's a supply and demand thing. Like, if every store stocks up on this, I don't think most speculators are going to care. They care because a book is scarce. There has to be a scarcity to it. You know, the new issue of Amazing Spider-Man is never going to be the hot one because Marvel makes tens of thousands of copies of it.
I think we have most of them on our shelves.
We do. So many
That's
now.
another book that we're hemorrhaging.
No one wants to read Spider-Man right now. But the other thing is that every time we try and take advantage of the market in that way, where we kind of lose our scruples enough that we say, you know what, tired of being poor, let's go all in on this stupid, sick market and try and make some money on it. That's the point where we get scammed. That's the one where we become the ones that prop up somebody else and lose our shirt. So I don't care. I don't care if 15 people show up looking for Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen #3, and I don't have it to sell to them. Okay, fine. Because I'd rather not have 15 extra copies that I have to put in the back issue boxes in 2 months because no one cared. Remember Superman 18?
Yeah.
Got a couple dozen copies across 2 stores because no one cared that was the issue where Superman revealed his identity because everybody knew about it. And we could up our orders in advance, and so we did, and no one cared. So, no, I don't... I mean, Punchline ticks a few more boxes for speculators than Superman's Secret Identity did. I mean, Art Germ Variant feels like speculator Mad Libs, so fine. I don't feel the need to participate in that market at the risk of losing money. Like, I don't care enough about trying to take advantage of it to risk any money on it.
Okay, but what about the book that is going to be hot because it's too late?
What's that?
Bang.
Oh, yeah, it's already going to a second print,
yeah.
Which I'm glad for. I read the first issue. I thought it was good. I don't understand why it would possibly be a hot issue.
Because it's sold out already, Dal.
Oh, Jesus. Which is so stupid.
What if they make a movie out of it?
That was one of my all-time favorite idiot speculator things, were the, like, Dark Horse has a first look deal with some Netflix or somebody like that. So every stupid speculator was, like, going through the back issue boxes, buying any Dark Horse #1 they could get their hands on, because what if that's the one they turn into a Netflix series or TV show or movie? Dark Horse has been in business for, like, 30 years. Do you know how many, like, nothing #1s are out there? But, like, you want to corner the market on those? So, yeah, I mean, sure. Do you remember, oh my God, do you remember, we did, Matt Kint is a great guy. We love Matt Kint. I'm very excited about Bang. Not for speculative reasons, but because I'm actually a comics fan who likes comics. And I like when there are good comics out there. And I thought him and Wilfredo Torres did a really fun job on a very Matt Kint version of James Bond, in that it kind of incorporates every iteration of James Bond in this kind of super James Bond kind of story.
Like the mindless James Bond, the devil James Bond, the Vegas bouncer James Bond.
James Fixit, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a great story, and it's a really good world for them to play in. But we did a signing and an art show with Matt and his wife back when Mind Management first came out.
Yeah.
And we did a print with them as well. And we had people that were buying...
A book plate.
No, we first one we did was a print.
Okay.
Then we did a book plate later. We actually offered them the opportunity of, like, do you want the print to just be the book plate? Because we can do that real fast.
Right.
And he went, no, I got an idea for this. So he did an original book plate.
No, he didn't. It wasn't a book plate.
That's right. This is not a book plate. It says it right on there. But when we put the print up, there were people that were buying, like, 10 of them at a time because it had just been optioned for a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
Tony Scott optioned it, which Tony Scott, no longer with us, probably did not do a lot to keep that project going. But, I mean, the people who were buying up, like, 10 prints because they were signed and numbered limited edition Mind Management things, like, does that feel like a good investment? I mean, they're great prints, and I love them, but if you're not a fan, why do you care? I don't think it's fast-tracked for the next, hit TV show. Like, how is Deadly Class doing his comics,
Yeah, right?
Is there still a market for those? How are V-Wars comics doing?
I did. I think I asked you. I used that.
Market so stupid.
Didn't I use that in some messaging back and forth thing we did?
I don't know, maybe.
I had asked. I think I was at River North, and I asked you where the V Wars display was.
Yeah.
Because it was. Oh no, it was because it dropped on a Friday, so I was at Bucktown. You were at. I asked you, like, how's that V Wars display coming along?
No.
Or something.
Yeah.
Haven't had a single person ask about V Wars.
Yeah, so I mean, the idea of, like...
For the record, V-Wars is a series by IDW that is vampire-based, and there's a Netflix show available right now.
It's got that guy from Lost and Vampire Diaries. He's in it. You can see a picture
of
him.
Ian Somerhandler is another
a picture
vampire?
Of him smoldering while he sort of has a V-Wars comic in his hands that he's not quite reading, as an advertisement on the back of IDW books, informing you that you could also... not read V-Wars comics, like Ian's not reading V-Wars comics.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole what if it becomes a movie or a TV show. I'll never understand what the end point of that is. Who is the audience that is excited that these comics exist because they saw them in a
What
movie or
was
TV
the character from Lois Lane
Never
that
know
got
it.
everybody apeshit this week?
So you had said that this issue of Lois Lane was a hot book because it had this new, like, Mrs. Bone style assassin character, some skull-faced lady who's trying to kill Lois Lane. And it's like, it's not her first appearance, though. She's in the previous issue. This one starts as a resolution of that issue's cliffhanger.
But was she named this time?
I don't think she's named in this one.
Oh, okay.
So the idea of it being hot because she's in it, like, she's been in it. This is not her first appearance. So oh, God damn, that whole market is so idiotic.
Literally,
What were we talking about?
I was explaining...
Punchline? Are we talking about Punchline?
Yeah, whatever. I was explaining...
Jesus Christ.
I made a comment about speculators to a customer on
Anger's up the blood.
Wednesday, and they had said, "What do you mean by speculators?" Went through the whole thing, like simply, just politely, like, "Hey, they speculate on the value of things." And I grabbed Argatsuko off of the wall, which I'm always going to mispronounce, as an example. Like, this is a book that people care about this week. I don't even know why. And they said, "What is this book about?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a red panda who has a lot of stress in her day job, and it's a Sanrio character, but she's a death metal singer by night." And they said, "Oh, I want that."
Yeah. I mean, it's a good concept, but it's like, it's already a TV show.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I just like this is the book for speculators. No, that sounds like a fun book. I'll read that.
Like, and honestly, like, I think maybe that's the root of it, is that I think a lot of stores, and Oni in general, maybe underestimated kind of what the demand was going to be, because it's a licensed book. You never really know what the audience is going to be. And this one seemed like it really clicked with fans of the TV show in a way where they all wanted it. But the speculator part of it, the people who are kind of taking advantage of that, I hate it because in general they don't care about what the book is. They have no interest in it as art. They only care about it as something that they can flip online. And I wish they would start flipping some other goddamn medium. Like, you want to do it for Pokemon cards? Go nuts. I don't care. Like, be unhealthy for a different industry. So yeah, I don't care if we lose out on not serving that market, because the risk is just too high. Because just when you think you've got it figured out, the criteria doesn't matter anymore. Like, we could pick the next Art Germ variant and go like, you know what? We're going to triple our orders on that one because Art Germ variants are hot. And that's the one that people will be like, no, I don't care. Not on that book.
Oh, it's Johnny Storm?
Yeah.
Pass.
Well, no, it would never be a boy one, Patrick. We're not idiots.
Oh, it's Sue Storm, but her costume goes up to her neck and she's got long sleeves? Pass.
It's only kind of sexy, not really sexy. How dare you?
Wednesday was a great day for explanations. So not only did I explain to one person what speculation was in the comics industry, I got to explain to two other people what fridging is.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah. And I just...
Only in a positive light, I'm assuming.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's when a male character finally gets that motivation he needs, and all you have to lose is a female character.
Yep.
There you go.
And
Total positive.
Literally, in that same tone of voice, I explained to them that female characters only exist to advance the male story.
Yeah. They're there to make me care more about the men in the story.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Terrible. Terrible.
Man.
Comics is a ridiculous
what I
industry
love was
and a ridiculous medium.
that I did it as straight as possible, and
Sure.
like the tone I gave you just now was the tone I gave them.
Yeah.
But they knew right away
Yeah.
that I was condemning it
Because
in my tone.
it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's a pathetic storytelling tool that,
Yeah.
like, just recently, and I don't know why companies don't hear this stuff when they're saying it to each other before it reaches the wider world. Like, hey, maybe promoting a Nancy Drew anniversary series by killing Nancy Drew and having the Hardy Boys investigate it doesn't really sound great to Nancy Drew fans. Like, do you hear the part where she dies so that the men can be, like, motivated to investigate her death? That she doesn't even get to be, like, a character in the promotion? Like,
Of her own series? Her
what?
named series? Whose name comes first in the title of that book?
But then on top of that, like, to portray it as, like, this is a celebration of Nancy Drew on her anniversary. Like, you killed her and gave her case to the Hardy Boys. What? don't, like, when the writer of your book has to go to, like, USA Today and explain why it's not a total insult to Nancy Drew fans, I feel like you've made a huge miscalculation in the conception of your series and also the marketing of said series. Like, it's just a screw up from top to bottom. But again, it's a thing where, like, how did no one involved in this raise that as a possibility? Because for me as a fan, the first time I heard it, I went, that sounds not good. And that was the light response to it. People had much harsher responses to it.
I grew up reading all the Hardy Boy books.
Uh-huh.
You know this. They're still in the furnace room.
I do.
In smaller boxes. And I watched the Parker Stevenson, Pamela Sue Martin, Hardy Boys, and Nancy Drew. I forgot who. Sean Cassidy.
Oh, wow.
Was Joe Hardy. I watched those series on ABC Sunday nights. Mm-hmm. And I'm like a longtime Hardy Boys fan. Even I knew right away that was a bad idea.
Yeah, it just real tone deaf. Feel bad for the creators because it probably wasn't their idea. Don't feel as bad for Dynamite because they absolutely should have known better. And it's this thing of, like, you did a Nancy Drew series by
Kelly Thompson,
by female creators that felt completely in tone with the original series.
It was real good.
It was real good. And then
who drew that?
Jen St. Aung.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is like, oh, now we're going to do another one of the grown-up, grim and gritty Nancy Drew Hardy Boys ones. Oh, and Nancy Drew has been murdered. Like, I know it's a mystery book, and I know she's not really murdered and whatever, fine. But it's like, I shouldn't have to do that calculus in my brain to let you off the hook. Like, that's your bad ideas. Yeah. To bring it all the way around.
Nice.
What we started with.
That's really good.
I did that. You're welcome.
Hopefully listening to this podcast was a good idea, so thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155.
And in the River North neighborhood of Chicago at 750 North Franklin Street, number 103, 312-285-2252.
Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.
Son of a...